And so our first speaker today is Shanna Lee Moore. She's going to be talking about prioritizing your tasks to live your best life. I met Shanna probably about a year and a half ago, and we were introduced by somebody. And Kim, you're here today talking about, doing it yourself. We don't have to do it ourselves. This is a misnomer. Find people in your life who can get behind what you're doing. There are a lot of people out there who will donate time to help us, but we need to know what we want to have help with. So I met Shanna. I don't even remember who we met through Shanna. That's like, I don't know, but we met. And, one thing turned into the next, and we have conversations, we get on calls. Next thing you know, she's joining the Fearless Entrepreneurs book. And then, she's sharing her story in that. And then I met her, she was working at Secret Knock, and I saw her there. And then, then she's going to be in another book, Wellness for Winners, which is coming out February 15th. So we have, that one conversation, whatever that one first connection was, that turned into this. So I'm excited to have Shanna. She is a massage therapist. She's in California in the Escondido area, I believe, and doing really, really great work. But that's not all she does. And again, time, right? How does she find time to do all the different things she does? So let's welcome Shanna to the stage. The spotlight is yours, girlfriend. Go for it.
Thank you, Linda. I'm so happy to be here. And I don't want to be on the spotlight, so let me see if I can find you. There we go. Okay. Hi. My talk today is about prioritizing, and that's going to look different for all of us. We all go through different seasons, and maybe we have different business adventures or different passions that we're pursuing. And like you said, getting to find the things that resonate with us. And so really to give ourselves some grace while we're transitioning and trying out these things. I know for myself, I used to be really hard on myself. Like I wasn't as successful as this other person, or I didn't talk as eloquently as this other person. And even now when I get on some of these events or summits or the podcasts and different interviews to promote the books or other things, I know that I get a little nervous and I run through my house and I do my little dance with my kids and I'm like getting that energy out. And, we're just normal people. Like sometimes you see someone speaking on a stage and maybe you don't feel like you belong, like in your story, you feel maybe that imposter syndrome. And I really needed to step back and like look at where I've come from. And I haven't even shared all of my stories. And those are going to be things that maybe come out in future books or future talks. But when I go back and I kind of list and show gratitude for where I am, that helps me get there. But to get back on topic from my talk, I want to start with the story of the big rocks. So a professor is in college and he comes into his classroom and he has one of those big glass jars. And he fills it with all these big rocks. And he asks the class, hey, is the jar full? And they all say yes, because it looks to be. And then he takes some smaller pebbles and he pours those in and shakes it around a little, and they fall into the cracks in between the bigger rocks. And then he asks again, is the jar still full? And they kind of laugh a little because they didn't realize that it was going to do that. And they say yes again. And he gets an even smaller bag of sand and he pours that in on top. And the sand is still smaller than the pebbles and the rocks. And so it fills in the other little gaps of space in there. And by now the class is really thinking, this jar is full, it can't possibly hold anything else. And so he explains, these big rocks, these are your most important priorities, your family, your health, the things that if something happened that would really shatter your whole world. It would be really hard to recover from one of those areas, being affected. And then the smaller pebbles is maybe your job or your house, your car, the things that are really important. You need them, but they're not as life-changing. You could get into a solution regarding, maybe when the pandemic hit and we lost our jobs, we had to pivot somewhere or explore a new passion or do something different. For me as a massage therapist, I wasn't able to work for about 7 months, or I wasn't supposed to work, I had to realize I could use some of my virtual gifts. I have energy work called Reiki that I can do, or I've been certified in Qigong that I could teach on a Zoom, different things like that to still be able to facilitate health in people. And then the sand, is some of the things that maybe will be in your talk that you would maybe delegate or dump. They're not as high priority. Maybe somebody else could do the dishes for you, or run and get your laundry, or pick up the groceries. You could have the Instacart delivered or something like that it needs to get done, but it doesn't have to be done by you, or maybe in the most certain order. And then at the very end, he takes this cup of coffee and he pours it in over the rest. And because it is a liquid, you're able to still make room for that cup of coffee or tea with a good friend, because that kind of goes back into the big rocks, where those relationships, those are our most important things. Time is our most valuable asset, but it doesn't mean anything if we're not spending it in a valuable way. So for us, we get to decide, what do we want to spend our time on today? My favorite tool that I use is my Google Calendar, because I can change the colors of my different tasks and things when I'm blocking my calendar. So if I have different business projects I'm working on, or if I have 3 kids, everybody has their own color. So when I'm looking at the calendar as a whole, I can see who's where, doing what, and where maybe I have time. If I see something that belongs to my daughter, I know I can schedule over that because she's a little more independent. She can get herself to work or whatnot. She's 17 now. But if I see something that's pink for my other daughter, then I may need to be available for a little more guidance. And not everybody is a parent, and not everybody is building their business while their kids are still home. But I think that for me, it's worked wonderfully to be an entrepreneur and really get to spend that time with my family. That was one of the main things when I was a single mom that helped me go back to school to get certified for massage therapy, was so that I could have some flexibility in my schedule and I could really choose the hours that I wanted to work. When my mom was a single mom, she worked all the time, and we were not able to spend that time with her. There were things she missed out on, perhaps the chaperoning the field trips or going to the class parties at the school. And I really wanted to make sure I was there to do those things. And so while I was raising my daughters, I was able to work around, with enough notice. I told the school, give me at least a month, because some people schedule their massages monthly. And I needed to be able to make sure I had that block. So the things that go into my calendar first, they usually stay, barring any emergencies or non-negotiables that kind of pop up. Usually I'm pretty committed to the first thing that I schedule in there. And so that's been a blessing to me, to be able to have this entrepreneurial spirit that then I get to teach to my children. They get to decide, some of the things that I didn't learn until I was in my 30s, they're learning in their, young middle school and high school ages. And it's really makes me smile, makes me happy, makes me feel as though I've given them value in something, a different way of thinking, to really be able to challenge how they accept information that comes into their life, so that they can figure out what works best for them, and to know that they don't have to just take something at face value. They can explore which options work better for them. My youngest decided she wanted to be homeschooled this year, because being at home with the emergency hybrid COVID option and working from 9 in the morning until 7:30 at night wasn't giving her a good childhood, good quality of life for that. And we just decided that was too much. And there were things that were missing in that curriculum. She wasn't being taught some of the values and things that I wanted her to learn. And so by keeping her on an online school, we had that flexibility where she could work around, the times of day that maybe she's more receptive to learning. She's a little bit more of a night owl like me. And that way she doesn't have to get up at 6 o'clock and drag herself to school and basically not even be retaining any of the information she learns in the morning. And so I like to do like evaluation. like I like to write. That's why I'm in your books with you. That's why I write poetry. It's how I organize my thoughts, because once it's out on the paper, then I don't have to keep thinking about it anymore. And so, you know, one of the things you can do is make like pros and cons lists. Like, here's the things that I want to achieve. These are the things that I think I need to do to get there. And then where do they fall in those priorities? Which ones need to be done today? You know, maybe if you have multiple streams of income, you have, you know, Monday is for massage or Wednesday is for water, you know, for me, because I have those two main streams of income. But I know that I also need to give myself grace, because sometimes my child or my children, you know, they might have something come up that's on a Monday or a Wednesday. Or, you know, I just opened a new office. I've been primarily a mobile therapist, and now I have a location for people to come to who aren't wanting to receive the mobile therapy in their own space anymore. And then that way I'm not so hard on myself. I don't have to have that judgment or those negative emotions come in. I just know that I'm doing the best that I can at any given moment. And that's all we can ever do. Our best is going to change from time to time. Maybe we're a little under the weather. Some of those speakers who were supposed to be here, I'm sure they're very committed, but you know, something happened that was a little bit beyond their control, and that's okay. And we get to step up and support them by asking for help and creating these communities and these networks. Now, they don't have to feel like a failure or that they let someone down because they weren't able to be here. Now someone else has the opportunity to step in and give some wisdom that they've learned over these years. So I'm really excited to learn from all the other speakers here. I want to make sure that I covered all the topics that I had said when I did my little promo with Whitney. So again, to summarize the big rocks, that's keeping the main thing the main thing. So you know in your life where your values are and what's most important to you. And some days for me, that's staying at home and doing the dishes and the laundry and going grocery shopping. And that has to be my main thing to keep my household going. And I can't feel bad that I'm not going out and making money that day, because it's a cycle. I get the opportunity to transition and flow through all the many hats that I wear. And then I can teach my children, you know, hey, if you do the dishes for me today, that leaves my time free to go over here and do this other thing that's more important for you. Like my little one can't drive the car to the grocery store, so let me go get the groceries while you do the dishes. Or, you know, you clean your room and I'll clean my room over here. You know, we'll vacuum together, or take turns since there's only one vacuum, you know. But whatever I get to master, whatever tips and tricks I learned from the rest of the summit, these are now things I get to go apply into my household and my community and my team and my people that I associate with, my sphere of influence. Everything flows. When I signed up to do Secret Knock, I hadn't even met you yet to be in your books. And then all my little circles start to overlap, and I get to be in the communities that I know I'm meant to be in. Some people call it leveling up or transitioning or growth. You know, not everyone is going to travel with us forever. But when we do get to put ourselves out there and speak our truth and offer the wisdom that we've learned, then we can attract those people that do want to travel with us, and we create these lifetime partnerships and relationships to collaborate and really live our best lives. Let's see what else. Yeah, I think I got it all. I wanted to see if anybody had any questions for me, and I can go ahead and answer them in more specifics.
If you have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand, and I'm going to remove you from the spotlight there. Hold on a second. Got the gallery. Yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and you raise your little digital hand there, or you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your questions. So the thing that I thought was cool is you mentioned the color coding, you know, for your kids and stuff. So how do you remember who's which color?
That's a great question. So I'm yellow. It's called banana in the Google Calendar. So that one was pretty easy.
Okay.
My oldest daughter's name is Justice. And a long time ago, I heard purple is actually the color of justice. So the very dark purple is called great in the calendar, but she's purple. My youngest daughter is the flamingo pink. She doesn't like pink, but it was another color that I thought kind of worked well. And then I have a blended family now. So anything that involves my husband or my bonus son is in the green sage color. My husband is a little more spontaneous than me, so he doesn't have a lot of events that pop up, so I can use the same color for both of them. I just know that's for the boys. And then
there you go.
The default setting is what I was using mostly for my massage appointments. And so I've left that there, which helps me when I know where I'm working for the day for that. I have the light blue color goes for my water business, and the dark blue color goes for my digital platform company. And then I have the tomato is red. So anything that might be like a bill that needs to be paid, or when money comes in, something that needs like really immediate attention, that's going to be in that red color so that it stands out compared to the rest of it. And the only other color left is kind of that orangey tangerine color. And that one I've just recently started using. I have a couple of masterminds that have popped up that aren't normal, like I'm not used to the normal schedule of them, so it's not something I would think of. Because a lot of times what happens is when I'm thinking about my calendar, I can visualize it in my head. So I can pretty much see, like, today is fully booked. I have it to go back to just to make sure, like if someone says, hey, how was your weekend? I can go back and, oh yeah, this is what I did this weekend, because sometimes I don't remember. And that's the point for me. The more I have going through my mind, the less organized I'm going to be, because I feel like I have to keep thinking about it in order to remember it. I learned as a child it takes 60 times to memorize something, so I'm pretty sure my brain just kept cycling it until it was burned in there. And so by having it on paper, having it on the calendar, I'm able to access that and not have to keep it in that kind of cycling inside.
What I like about the color coding is it's not something I do myself, but it's something I'll think about, consider adopting, because what I like about it is instantly, having that calendar, being able to glance and know where your time is being spent, and we call it spending time because we are spending. It's like money. We spend money, we spend time as well. So how are we investing? All the terminology, if you think about it in relation to time, it really relates to money as well. And it really is true. How are we investing our time? And so if we're able to quickly glance at our calendar, that in knowing the priorities. So maybe you have, red is your number one priority color. And then you have yellow, amber, whatever is like red, green, and yellow, right? So red is your priority. And then maybe yellow is the secondary priority. And then the green is the, I'll go whenever I want to. I don't know. I just made that up right now. But I like the idea of color coding because you can quickly glance, because right now, all I see is everything looks the same, and I have to actually read it to know what that's related to. So that's cool. I like that color coding. And then your pros and cons list. Oh, actually, another question related to, so you have how many children?
3.
3 children, husband, and 2 or 3 businesses?
3.
3 businesses. Okay, so how do you manage all of that to make sure that they still see themselves as a priority in your life?
I think that's where I give myself the flexibility, because I know that unless I'm having a set appointment with someone, like some of the days where maybe I've just scheduled calls or kind of the admin, clean up the email list, some of those things I will allow to fall and spend with my kids. So like for you, when you do the time blocking, I wouldn't really be able to get an adequate answer unless I kind of did it for a few weeks and averaged out, because there'll be times where I think I'm going to do something today, maybe a Zoom just for educational purposes, not like a connection call. And then my daughter comes to me and is like, oh, I really need this at the store, or can we go to lunch, or do you have time? And then of course, I want her to feel priority, and I want her to know that she's loved and valued. And so that's where I will take off the hat of the entrepreneur and business owner and put on the mommy hat, and just realize how precious my time with them is. My oldest is 17. She might move away next year, the end of this year, actually, she wants to go out of state. I don't know how often I'll get to see her and have that time with her when that happens. And then for my little one, she's on a precipice of, sometimes she's really busy wanting to play with her friends, and other times she really wants to play with us. And so there was one time when my oldest was little and she used to want to play Barbies. And I didn't really like dolls. I was more of a tomboy growing up. Like, I could play trucks and cars, but I didn't want to play Barbies. And so a lot of times I would say no. And one day I went to her and I said, okay, do you want to play Barbies now? And she's like, no, mommy, it's okay. I can play by myself. And it hurt my heart that I had missed that opportunity. And I don't want to have those memories of missed opportunities. I want them to know that everything I've done is for them. Sorry. And they are important.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And thanks for sharing your emotion. We're human beings and this happens. And especially when we bring up things that maybe we didn't do like we wish we had, because you missed that opportunity, right? But that's the thing, is with time, we can't get that opportunity back. But what can we do moving forward? And that's what you're doing. You're prioritizing them now in your life. So it's almost like that situation was helpful to help you to see how to prioritize, right? So thank you for sharing that. We're going to bring up Romy. You want to go ahead, and I'm going to bring you up here. Go ahead and share your question, Rami. I say Romy all the time. Sorry.
Yes, Rami, like mommy. Shana, my heart goes out to you. I as a single mom with a disability, I raised a little boy, and I do look back and think, trucks weren't my thing, but my heart goes out to you. I just wanted to make a comment about your use of color. I, in a previous career, had been an event planner, and taking a step, time management and organization, I think go hand in hand. And my events were all color coded, file folders, and so I can really associate, and I get a lot from your calendar coding. It helped my brain to not be focused on the enormity, just like the colors of a rainbow, you can focus on each color rather than the enormity of the project ahead of you. So I just wanted to comment that was really another step that I'll use personally. I just wanted to let you know. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Rami. And I agree. Rami like mommy. I'll remember that now. That's how I remember Shanna. Is Shanna like
Shanna
banana.
like banana.
It's good to come up with those little fun ways to remember our names, right? Because that helps us to remember. Shanna, so let me see, what was the other question I had? There was something you said about, making the pros and cons list. And so I want to know, because I know how I use my pros and cons list, but I would love to hear your perspective of not only creating the pros and cons list, but how do you come up with it? How do you decide something's a pro versus a con? And then how do you stick with it?
I think that especially with having multiple businesses and then multiple activities for the kids, we just need to figure out which one is more worth the investment of time. So I know that, we have to make enough money to sustain ourselves. And some of my, like if I schedule massage today, I know I'm going to make X amount of dollars for X amount of time today, unless I'm, billing insurance or something like that, or someone that pays me with a check. If I am meeting with someone to share one of my other opportunities, that doesn't always happen same day decisions. Sometimes they need more information, or they need to get, finances together, or they want to do some research, or they need to make their pros and cons list and evaluate why this is helpful for them. And it doesn't have to take forever, but it may not happen in 5 minutes while I'm meeting with them. And so there have been times where I'm like, okay, I need to take the massages today because I need to know this is my budget. This is what I'm working with. And then what's happened with me is while I was building some of my other opportunities, I would get called for massages. If I was supposed to go to a seminar, I was supposed to go to an event, or I had a meeting with someone. And then I had to start honoring the commitments I made to myself. And I said, no, that event or that seminar or that meeting was in the calendar first. I need to say no to this massage, or I'm never going to transition into this other stream of income. I needed to not live in the fear that I wouldn't have enough, and trust that there is abundance flowing to me, and that I'm in alignment with my passion and purpose of helping people. And I need to put myself out there to help people. And if I'm only massaging, I'm limited to this service area. Like even you're in San Diego, but I'm in North County, San Diego. I'm probably not going to massage you. And if I did, it wouldn't be a regular thing where I could really fully help you to my greatest abilities because of the distance and time. And so I needed to evaluate, where is my time best spent to get my message out, to help the number of people, to offer them the product, service, solution, collaboration with someone else I know. Some people call me the queen of contacts because I know over 5,000 people. So if you are looking for something, I probably know someone who can help you. And I love to make those connections. And that's not always a monetary thing. It doesn't need to be. It's reciprocal. I give referrals and do suggestions based off of things that I have used that have benefited me, that I feel will benefit you. Like I have a pillow that I use. I travel with it. That's how much I love the thing. I buy a new one every year or so when it loses its firmness. And it comes with me everywhere because I may not be able to control the bed I'm in when I go on traveling, but at least I can keep my pillow with me. I don't get paid by this company. Amazon, chiropractors, multiple places you can get it, but it helped me and it might help you. And it's the same thing we do if we go see a movie, or if we go to a nice restaurant, or, we buy a new car maybe, or a pair of shoes. I had a client yesterday. I was like, I love your boots. Where did you get them? She's not going to make any money when she tells me this thing, but she's going to give me the information because it's something that's going to add to my life. I really loved her boots and I need a new pair. And so I need to get back to your question, but, just listing it out so that I can read it, and then making sure that I reevaluate every so often. If I start to feel stuck or idle, one of the other ladies was saying, if I feel like I'm not creating the abundance or the structure that I need, I feel like maybe I'm getting out of balance with my home and my kids. Like, when I was in emergency homeschool, home every day, not going anywhere, that kind of made me a little depressed. I like being with people, and I was really resistant to the Zooms for a while. I didn't want to do online networking. I wanted hugs. And so now I have chosen to see the value of being able to connect with people virtually. I don't get the hugs, but I can still feel your energy. It's still an exchange. There's still eye contact. I can still resonate with you from afar. And now I've gotten to meet some wonderful people that I may not have met otherwise because they're not where I could hug them. And so I get these opportunities to grow as I keep reading books and listening to great podcasts or associating with people of a growth mindset. I get the opportunity to keep changing myself and becoming the best version of myself. And so as I do that, some of those priorities are going to change. Something that might have been super important. I used to really love like a particular TV show. I have no idea what season they're on or what is happening. I would be totally lost because I don't find value in that anymore.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I want to thank you for, being part of the Fearless Entrepreneurs book, as well as the summit, sharing your thoughts. And, I love that, again, the color coding. I think that's fabulous. Talking about prioritizing our time. Again, time is something we'll never, ever get back. So how are we prioritizing it to make sure that we can make the most of it? And so Shanna, thanks so much for being one of the speakers here. You want to share with everybody how they can get in contact with you. We also have, I'm going to put a link here. Our speakers have given free gifts. So go ahead and click the link in the chat there. That's how you can get their free gifts. And Shanna, share with us how we can get in contact with you, and we can put it in the chat as well.
Yes, so there is a free gift for a discovery call with me, and that will link to my calendar link. Again, because I have some flexibility with how I've structured things, that may not always work best. So if you need a different time that isn't available, feel free to reach out to me. My personal number is 619-204-5474. Again, that number is 619-204-5474. Make sure you send me a text with your name that we met here and what you're interested in accomplishing with me, and we will work to find the best way that I can help you out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shanna. Let's hear it for Shanna. Do waves or whatever. I don't know, the Zoom language or whatever. But thanks so much, Shanna, for being here again and sharing your knowledge with us and the different tips and tricks that you use to prioritize your time. So stick around as long as you possibly can, and let's keep moving. And let's hear it. Love, Shanna. Thanks, Shanna. We're real rooting for you. 9 o'clock. 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific, and I like to stay on time, and that's what we're doing today.